Hello, it's Wednesday, um, May 13th, and it's a beautiful sunny day. And I would like to talk about self care and asking for help um, when you need it. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, including me. If I could do it myself, would like, I would rather do that. And of course, I hope I have the judgment to know the difference of when I can do it myself and when I do need help. Um, so, if you need any kind of help as this pandemic continues on, especially if you're by yourself or you're just worn down, it's okay to ask for help. And I encourage you to ask your neighbor or your friend how they're doing. Do they need help? Um, do they need to talk to someone, maybe a professional? Maybe they just need a little encouragement. I mean, we all want to be independent if we can be. Um, my mother, for instance, struggled with keeping her dignity and being independent um, right up until at age 91. She had a fall and broke some ribs and got pneumonia and passed away. But that was a struggle for her to maintain her dignity while all that happened. It reminds me of a greeting card I saw once, and on the front was a cow on its back, and all four legs were straight up in the air, and it said, "I'm fine, really, I'm fine." Um, Boy, don't we all feel that way sometimes, like that cow. So I encourage you to just be aware of other people's maybe hints that they really do need help, but they don't want to ask. Um, or just just be aware of yourself too. How do you really feel? Are you getting depressed? Are you wanting to talk to someone but just don't want to admit that you're vulnerable? Um, and I too have that issue sometimes where I just don't want to have to need help. Um, and as your pastor, there was a Facebook post um, yesterday, I think, um, about praying for your pastor, about how difficult the decision to close churches was, and now pastors are facing the decision of how and when to open churches. Um, but I made a comment that while that's true, I didn't make it alone, or I'm not making decisions alone. I have the worship committee, the session, personnel, properties, um, the deacons. I have help all over the financial people, Anna, the office manager. I have so much help, and I am not afraid to ask for help if I need it in a church setting. And that's one of the um, things that Presbyterians are known for, or what makes us different than some of the other denominations, is that I alone do not make decisions about everything. The buck does not always stop at my desk. Sometimes it does. um, but we make decisions together. And I think that's so much healthier, and that's how I want it to be. Also, which is why one reason I am where I am as a Presbyterian. So I looked up. I remembered that Mr. Rogers had a quote um, that I thought was, and I didn't remember exactly how it was worded, so I looked it up and found some other really good quotes from Mr. Rogers, who I didn't used to like when my kid, because he was just so slow when my kids were growing up, but kids loved him. They still love him. So, anyway, the quote is: When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Now, there was a time when I didn't really understand that quote. What do you mean? There aren't people helping when I can't think of a tragedy right now. A cliff falls in the ocean. I mean, something that nobody saw coming. But now I understand it. It doesn't. It's not literal necessarily. If there's a fire, the fire engines come, and that's helping. But also, it's the personal help. It's people who run to um, the people sides who maybe were in a house on fire, or somebody whose house was damaged by the cliff falling. Um, there are those helpers too who extend their love and their concern. Uh, if you and here's another quote from Mr. Rogers. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never even dream of. There is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. And here's one more. And this is especially relevant right now with the coronavirus going on. We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, it's not my community, not my world, not my problem. And then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes. Doesn't that just fit right in with today, even though Mr. Rogers said it years ago? So just, it's okay to say help. And it's okay to check on other people and see if they need help. Um, and so blessings, and I'll see you soon.